Hey there everybody, unbudgingsalmon here, and we're back with another deck list, this time for the Triangle Duel for Synchros. Um, it is a little bit more meta than usual because we're using Sword Souls and Stardust together, but don't get me wrong, it's still kind of degenerate garbage, so let's get into this deck list. So we're using Stardust Xiaolong, Jet Synchron, Rocket Synchron, for some level 1 fodder. Then we're going to use Tinny Spirit, very common Sword Soul card to use. Converging Will's Dragon. This will get you your big Stardust monsters out. Some Junk Converter for any dead synchros you may draw. There's not a lot of dead synchros in the hand, but hey, you never know. Junk Synchron, just in case you get kind of low, you can grab some stuff out of the graveyard to start synchroing with. Ash Blossoms, of course. Stardust Synchrons to tribute, and then you can special summon it both from your hand or from the graveyard. And then, if you tribute a Stardust monster in any way, or if you tribute in any way, you can summon Stardust Trail from the graveyard, which is a non-tuner, and it summons tokens based on the material that you use. And then you have Sword Soul Moyi, who, when normal or special summoned, you can special summon a token. That's a tuner. And then you have Sword Soul Tai. You can banish a Sword Soul or Worm monster from your graveyard to summon a token. That's a tuner. Incredible Ecclesia. You can tribute this. You can special summon it if your opponent has more monsters than you, but then you can also special summon a monster, Sword Soul monster from your deck. Sword Soul Strategist. You can discard one other Sword Soul or Worm monster and special summon it, and then it automatically summons a token along with it. That is a tuner, and then when you synchro with it, it does damage. Tinny Spirit, it's another Worm monster that usually gets used in Sword Soul. We are running Monster Reborn, even though it's a little slow right now. Foolish Burial to dump a variety of things depending on what you need. You can either dump it for Taya, or you can dump Stardust Trail into the graveyard. You know, all that good stuff. You could dump Converter, summon Junk Synchron, make a level 5. All that good stuff. You have 1-for-1, which is where you discard a card and you summon a level 1 monster. We have Tuning, of course, because we have several Synchron monsters that we could hit with it. You have Necroid Synchro, which allows you to special summon a Stardust Synchro monster from your extra deck whose levels equal monsters that you banish with this card. Stardust Illumination, where you can send a Stardust monster from your deck to the graveyard, but if you control a Synchro monster, you can actually special summon it to the field instead. Sword Soul Emergence is just a searcher for Sword Soul cards. You can also banish it and target a Sword Soul monster in the graveyard. Sorry, you can banish it, and then you can target a Sword Soul monster or Worm monster to increase or decrease its level. Arrive in Light is a very good card. When you activate it, you can put level 1 dragon monster from either your deck or your hand to the top of the deck. Obviously, 99% of the time you're going to put Converging Wills back on your deck. And then when you synchro summon a Stardust monster, or a monster that has Stardust in the name, it lets you draw a card, and then of course you draw Dragon Wills and it special summons. Sword Soul Blackout lets you target a Worm monster you control and 2 other cards your opponent controls and destroy them. And then you can banish it to summon a tuner token. So that's pretty much it for that. We're running Formula Synchron, which is level 2 synchro that lets you draw a card, and then during your opponent's main phase you can actually synchro summon with it, but usually you're going to be moving on pretty quick. Jet Warrior is here for our Jet Synchron, which we can search with Synchro Overtake. Because Synchro Overtake either lets you summon it straight to the field or add it to your hand, but you have to have a monster listed in one of the cards in order to use it. So we have that listed here, and then if for some reason you need it, if it's in your graveyard, you contribute a level 2 or lower monster and special summon it in defense position, and then banish it when it leaves the field. Junk Speeder is a very staple card. You need a Synchron Tuner, and then when you summon it, you can summon as many possible Synchron Tuners from your deck to the field with unique names, or start with different levels, and then you can synchro from there. And then we have Stardust Charge Warrior. When it's summoned, you can draw a card. That's really the main thing. It can attack special summon monsters your opponent controls, but it's not that strong. We're running 2 Stardust Dragons. Just to go into other stuff, we are running Sword Soul Grandmaster, is it Chai Zhao? It's the level 8 for the deck. It's pretty common. You can add to your hand or banish one Swordsoul monster card from your deck, and then you can banish the Swordsoul or Worm card from the graveyard, target one other effect monster on the field, and negate its effect this turn. Shooting Star Dragon. It's pretty good. You can look at the top 5 cards of your deck, and for every tuner, it can attack again. It's often used as fodder too. We have Stardust Chronicle Spark Dragon. It's one of many Stardust cards. You know, Majestic Shooting Star is also great. Lets you tribute them or banish them in order to negate effects. Stardust Cipher Divine Dragon does a very similar thing. Each time it would be destroyed by battle or card effect. It's not destroyed during either player's turn. When your opponent activates a monster effect, you can negate the effect, and if you do, destroy it. So pretty great. Baron de Fleur, you guys know it. Pretty common. Running this Swordsoul Supreme Sovereign Cheng Ying. It gains 100 attack and defense for each banished card, and your opponent loses 100 attack and defense. And then if it would be destroyed by card effect, you can banish one card from the graveyard instead. And if a card is banished, except during the damage step, you can banish a card both from your opponent's field and graveyard. Which does work if you're banishing your own Stardust monsters to negate effects as well while he's on the field. So that's pretty cool. And then you're using Swordsoul Sinister Sovereign. It's like Keizing Lugion. So when it's synchro summoned, when it's on the field, if you synchro summon another worm monster, you can draw a card. And then if your opponent special summons a monster, you can banish it and deal 1200 damage. And if your opponent activates a spell or trap card, you can banish that card and inflict another 1200 damage. So that's the deck. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys are running. I'll talk to you all later. Bye, everybody.